Hello, nerds and nerdettes, and welcome back to the channel where once again we have a new review for you guys. Yet another Batman book. It seems like Batman week over here at the Illuminati channel. DC definitely likes their Batman, that's for sure. But today we will be covering, instead of a DC omnibus or an omnibus in general, we will be covering a DC Deluxe edition, and that will be Batman and Joker, the Deadly Duo, the Deluxe edition by Marc Silvestri. A very interesting and anticipated book for me and a lot of the community. Happy to have it and go over it with you guys. But before we jump into the details, a quick reminder that if you are looking for this deluxe edition or any omnibus that I've featured on my channel, to use the channel sponsor organicpricebooks.com, use the discount code STAYNERDY for $2 off your order, or when ordering 3 or more books, you can use the code STAYNERDY, ship it together, for 5% off that order. Also, for my manga lovers, I am a Right Stuff affiliate, so when ordering from Right Stuff, if you'd like to support the channel, you can go into the description and use my affiliate link. Every little bit counts, and I will be forever thankful for that. But without further ado, let's get into the details of the book. So this specific DC Deluxe Edition, which is the trim of an omnibus because it is a deluxe edition, does have a cover price of $29.99 and a page count of 208 pages. It is a very beautiful book, but let's go ahead and jump into the overhead shots, show you the beautiful design of the book and the beautiful artwork throughout. And here we are, Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo, the Deluxe Edition. A DC Deluxe Edition is the size of a omnibus, so that is the trim that you're looking at here, but it just doesn't have as many pages. This is a DC Black Label book, so it's not taking place in DC continuity, but you do have art and writing by Marc Silvestri throughout this entire book, which is pretty cool because a lot of people know Marc Silvestri best for his work at Marvel, so it is cool that he's taking on Batman. The Dark Knight's Deadliest Team-Up, obviously based off the title, Batman and Joker and Deadliest Duo. It is a team-up book between Batman and Joker. But let's go ahead and get this dust jacket off and take a look at the beautiful art on the board. And here we are under the dust jacket, taking a quick look at the inner flaps like we do. We do have a little bio on Marc Silvestri, and then we have a little bio on some other creators here. Marc Silvestri is doing the art and writing, so he is the primary creator on this book, so he definitely takes a lot of the attention and precedence there. But let's go ahead and spread this baby out and take a look at the wraparound cover. And there we are with the wraparound cover. We do have 2 separate images by Marc Silvestri, one of Batman and one of Joker. This book is beautifully designed. I absolutely love the scratchy, dark, and gritty aesthetic to this board, but let's go ahead and flip on over and take a look at the binding. Now, obviously, this is not a huge book, so you don't need an incredibly advanced binding here. I did have some issues with spread pages and gutter loss, but it wasn't anything too hateful, but still, just keep that in mind that there is some gutter loss throughout. All right, let's get right into the book. So we do have these beautiful end pages here. The highlight of this book is definitely going to be the art. Marc Silvestri absolutely kills it throughout this entire book, and the design of the book also. There's another beautiful image there. Here's your title page featuring the 2 prevalent or main characters here. And then here's more of the creators. Marc Silvestri on story and art, Arif Prianto on colors, Troy Pateri on letters, and series and collection cover artist Marc Silvestri and Arif Prianto, which is the same team that does the rest of the book. So pretty much what you're getting on the cover is also what you're going to be getting inside the book. So that is definitely a plus. And then you get right into the first issue, Batman and Joker, issue 1, the Deadly Duo. A little bit about this story. Obviously, we're going to avoid spoilers, so I may have to skip a later half of the book. But this does obviously follow Batman and Joker, who are kind of forced in a lot of ways to work together against a common threat. There are 2 separate reasons in which each character is working with one another. Joker has his own kind of sinister reason that you actually don't find out until the very end, and Batman obviously has some more honorable and wholesome reasons that probably a lot of you can probably guess, but it is a fairly interesting story. I think the art throughout is obviously incredible. I think Marc Silvestri's Batman is lean yet brooding. His costume is sleek yet deadly at the same time because he does design a new looking Batman costume with no underwear and a black utility belt and gauntlets that shoot out like blades so he can use them more offensively. So a lot of interesting thought process has went into the design of the characters here. Um, but one of the standout highlights as far as the story for me personally is actually his Joker. I think Marc Silvestri had a beautiful voice for the Joker, that maniacal, psycho, but yet funny at the same time kind of dialogue that comes out of that character you'd come to expect. And I think he had a very, very good touch and connection with the character of Joker and what he would say or do in certain situations. So that's definitely a highlight for me personally. As far as the overall plot, I don't think we are reinventing the wheel by any means here. Um, we've kind of seen similar stories like this in other forms of media as well as comics, so it's not going to be necessarily anything um, out there or unexpected, because it is kind of something you would come to kind of expect. But this is something I would recommend to some horror fans, though. The henchmen, or the common threat that they kind of go up against throughout this entire comic book series, all 7 issues, are almost borderline zombies slash vampires. Think I Am Legend. Actually, there's a lot that this story kind of has that follows in suit or is reminiscent of I Am Legend, weirdly enough, but still great for horror lovers, especially when it comes to body horror as well, because you are going to have a lot of violence throughout this. I'm talking eyes being shot out, lots and lots and lots of decapitations. You really name it, it kind of takes place here. So it is a little bit of a darker story, especially when it pertains to some of its gruesome details. So be aware of that when jumping in as well. But you do have, obviously, a lot of the supporting cast, such as Nightwing, Batgirl, Jim Gordon, Alfred, all making a slight appearance as well. So you don't have the full focus on Batman and Joker specifically, but you do have some of the love shared throughout. You also have Harley Quinn making an appearance as well, as you guys probably saw when I flipped a page there. But we are probably going to stop at this point in the book, just so we don't reveal a little too much for those of you that want to be surprised when it comes to the story. But we will kind of backtrack and take a look at some of the beautiful paneling. This is probably one of my favorite pages in the book. Very emotional sequence and scene for the character of Batman. As you can tell, his Batman is very brutal, very physical. A lot of the fight scenes, you really don't see him hold back a whole lot. I'm not going to say like you have him kicking necks with a single kick or killing his enemies by any means, but he is definitely going full tilt against some of these deadlier enemies. Here is the image that you saw on the end sheets, a very beautiful image. And I think the book does have a dark, kind of humorous feel as well, especially coming from the Joker. But even Batman and Nightwing have some scenes that are kind of funny and interesting. But definitely a well-written book. Marc Silvestri should definitely be proud of himself tackling DC's most popular hero and DC's most popular villain, probably, and really knocking it out of the park, because I definitely enjoyed my reading experience. And I highly recommend this to new readers because it's not in continuity. I recommend this to horror fans. I recommend this really to whoever's interested. It's definitely worth the read, and it's only 7 issues, so it's a pretty quick read as well. And welcome back, nerds and nerdettes. So I definitely enjoyed this series. All 7 issues really kept my attention. I did find the pairing of Joker and Batman to be pretty interesting as far as concepts go. The art throughout by Marc Silvestri, who's probably best known for his work on X-Men titles over at Marvel, absolutely kills it throughout this entire book. His artwork is absolutely just gritty. There's so much cross hatching. The paneling is interesting. The colors are vibrant and the combat is brutal. So it's definitely a very art forward book for my readers that enjoy good artwork in a book. You're definitely going to get that from this book. But also Marc Silvestri on his writing duties throughout this series very much impressed me because honestly his voice for the Joker is one of my favorite voices I think I've heard throughout dialogue in a very long time, especially pertaining to the Joker. Joker throughout this story does have a little bit of a more lighthearted take. He's still a psychopathic clown by all means, but he does have a little bit more of a lighthearted take when it comes to some of his jokes and really his teamwork that he's willing to do with his rival Batman. But what honestly impressed me the most was just the dialogue from Joker, period. I think Marc Silvestri had a very good pulse and voice that he applied to the character of the Joker that I very much enjoyed because it was sadistic and it was a little lighter than I'm used to with Joker, but still it was also extremely funny. There's a lot of just quips that he has throughout the book that are kind of twisted, but you do chuckle at while reading. But his Batman is also very interesting as well. There is a lot of, I feel like, modern science applied to this story, and it's very thought out. But one of the drawbacks about the story is I did find it extremely predictable. I'd probably say about issue 2 or 3, I kind of figured out what was going to take place and who was going to be behind it. There is a little twist and turn that Silvestri tries to take you on, but I didn't bite. I definitely expected the ending that we got here, so it is fairly interesting that he still tried that pivot, but I think some people, some readers are going to be able to see through it. I do feel like the ending was fairly open-ended, which I know some people don't love, but others do, so that might be hit or miss. Your mileage may vary just in general when it pertains to the ending. One aspect that I did enjoy about the ending was when it came down to the Batman and Joker relationship and their ending to their team up, I guess. I very much enjoyed that. It had very similar notes to the Three Jokers, if you know what took place, or the dialogue that took place at the end of Three Jokers. It felt very reminiscent to that, and I am a huge fan of the way Three Jokers ended. So I did enjoy that ending dialogue portion between those two. But I definitely think it's worth a read. It's only 7 issues. It's a quick read. You are getting beautiful art. If you're a fan of Marc Silvestri, you're getting his style of art throughout this entire book. But he is doing Batman. He's designing the characters. They all look different and have a fresh coat of paint. So definitely recommend this to Batman fans, Silvestri fans, horror fans, and new readers. But the rating that I am going to give it is going to be a 7.8 out of 10. I think it was a very well put together story. The artwork was immaculate, but I do feel like the villain and the ending was a little predictable for me personally. But I still think it's something worth reading if you're a fan of all the genres and the creators that I kind of already mentioned. But that does wrap up today's review. So thank you so much for watching. As always, I had a blast talking about nothing but Batman all week, it feels like. I have been fairly slow on the Marvel pickups this month, but that's mainly because they haven't released a lot that I was looking forward to. While DC has really been churning out some awesome books, this one included. But let me know down below if you guys enjoyed The Deadly Duo, where you feel like it went wrong, where you feel like it went right. You guys' opinions is what matters most to me and this community, so of course, sound off down below. But if you are not a part of the Illuminati, hit that subscribe button to join the community. And if you could do me a favor and hit that thumbs up icon, it's a little gesture that means a lot to us here on the channel. And if you did enjoy today's video and you want to be notified when more like it are posted, then hit that little bell icon. That way you can get notifications anytime this channel posts any type of content. But once again, thank you for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. And of course, as always, stay nerdy.